later, one of the major issues. So that's where this talk is being planned, how to manage the classroom effectively, as well as being a teacher, how we can best teach the students. And before we start our class, I make a kind request. This is not aimed to at what you call any particular teacher or something like that. I'm going to talk about something like examples. So please don't take it anything personal in nature. So that's a disclaimer. So it is what I talk in general as a teacher, because I have put in more than 3 decades of service. In my service, I have seen a lot of changes. The day when I started my service, how were the students, and today there's a big technological backup with us. So that also having what you call issues with us. And the most problematic today is we are in AI tools, what you call generation, where everything is available online in your fingertips, and students even don't write their assignment. They just look into these AI tools and just get into. So this is where we are really trying to get them back. And a few of the recent examples, if I want to give, what are the changes are happening in the what you call uh, regions of other place in the world. For example, in Sweden, I don't know how many of you know, the students now, especially from the primary class, now they're insisted to write on the slates. And in few of the countries like Australia and all, they have to get a permission from the elders to become a member for any social media. So all these things are happening changes. Why not in our country? Because basically the entire issue is our students' attention is diverting towards something else. They are distracted more. Partly we are also maybe reason, I don't know. So that's why I said don't take anything personally. So this is where we are going to start our class, and we will have 2 sessions. You can stop me in between if you want to have this one. Otherwise, definitely at the end of the session, maybe the second session end, I'll give some time. We can really discuss. Okay, because there could be so problems could be diverse. So this is where we are going to talk highly today. What you call? Basically, we are to start with the structuring, delivery, management, interaction, focus, questioning, and how to involve the students, and emotive and cognitive feedback. Where what you call? We are going to talk. The first thing we are each section we are going to discuss, and in between what you call? I'm going to talk about few of the examples how we are to manage. So we start with the what you call first of all, starting with the structuring of our classes. See, nowadays one thing why the structuring is required, because nowadays students are, I'm not telling all the students, at least few of the students are very sharp. uh, you believe it or not, sometimes they read in advance and come to the class, and we cannot what you call beat around the bush when we what you call dealing with the students in a classroom. We cannot beat around the bush, because nowadays they are very sharp. Not all, at least few of them. So you have to keep them in mind also. So first thing is, before you start the semester, before you start taking the class, or because you will be almost knowing that what kind of a subject you are handling or a specific paper, organize yourself. This is more important. Organizing the teaching resources. And my dear teachers there, nowadays, organizing and getting material is not a big problem. It's not that I'm insisting on you to use AI tools, because still there are a lot of things which are there in the textbooks which are not reflected in the AI tools. Because remember, the textbooks are the prime things for us. Remember when you were a student, how many times you have gone to library and made a notes referring 4 5 books and reading all the 4 5 books, then you started to filter the points from the books and then made a notes. Now that is where your knowledge part was much higher. But nowadays, what is happening? The students don't even require your notes. They just what you call, they require attendance and marks. Sorry to say this. They require just attendance and marks. And if you give more attendance and good marks, you are a good teacher. If you make it strict, you are a villain in the college. So, but whatever it may be, being a responsible teacher, we have to do our duties. So the first thing is what you call getting organized and clearing before the semester begins. This is where you have to have some work before you start the semester, because roughly you'll be knowing and usually every year you repeat this one. There could be slight change in the syllabus, which is done by the BOS or Board of Studies. So you have to look into that also, which will be published in the university website or concerned what you call college website. So first thing is get organized, because you have limited number of hours and it is only 14 weeks if you remember, and within 14 weeks you have what you call the idea is here, within 14 weeks there could be college functions, there could be sudden holidays are coming, and you have to manage all those. In between you have to do C1 C2, in between you have to do some other work. So there are a lot of time will be what you call taken by other issues. So this is where what you call start organizing and how you are going to manage. I don't mind if you are going to timetable like unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4, what you're going to, how many hours it's required, so that you can have a plan. My idea is a good plan is like 50% success. If a bad plan comes, you are a failure. So make a plan of entire thing. Then again, I'm not telling targeting the teachers there. Still, few of our teachers are referring their notes when they were students. Please throw it out, because I know you like your notes, you like your record books, but definitely you keep it for yourself, because there is a dramatic or drastic changes in the content part. So that is where you have to be updated. And if you're not updated, still you are in the old version of your notes, our students may not like it. So the idea here is better you can rewrite, because definitely there is a what you call a revision of syllabus, and nowadays they insist revision of syllabus every year, so that the students get a fresh information rather than the outdated information. So what you can do now is like, well, usually nowadays we have what you call PPTs and other what you call resources. So now don't use that old PPT which you have used for your student days or in the beginning of your this one. So what you can do is you can improvise your what you call PPTs by incorporating the new inputs. Now remember, the more and more new information you give, definitely it attracts our students, because you are telling something new which is very good for the students, and which is the content where you are matching with the present day happenings, not that old ones. So the students also get updated and it will be connected. Now the next part is, once you remove all of that, now you can make a set by set, where what you call the idea is organizing them, so that you don't have a tension that tomorrow I have not prepared. So the organization itself is, as I said, 50% success. Now the other 50% is your efforts. Now I want to tell you something very important here. Uh, Especially I said notes and PPTs. Remember, the UGC has a rule that a teacher should not dictate what you call notes in the classroom. He can tell important points or this one, because dictation of notes is not advisable inside the classroom. Why? Because the same notes can be uploaded in your college website, or nowadays you have WhatsApp groups for all the students, especially each subject wise. You can upload that notes, or you can post that notes in a WhatsApp group or even in the college website, so that everybody can be make use of such notes. So this is where what you call the structuring comes, and already if you know half of the contents, then it is much easier. Now that's a one part where it starts with what you call structuring. Now once you have got a structuring, the next important point is the delivery part of it. Imagine sometimes, maybe think of your day one class, how it was. If I think my day one class, I laugh myself. When I went to the vertical podium and stood, everything looked blank. It must have happened with you also. But it takes 1 or 2 days to manage the things. Yes, when you see that student crowd at first time and you feel okay, you have read everything, now you feel blank, which is not a good idea. So that is why you have to encourage your students to give seminars, so that when they become teachers or when they become give a public talk, then it will be good for them. So this is where you encourage your students for seminars also, which is again a part and part of NP or SCP, where you can award additional marks. So what are the few important issues? Now, one of the what you call thing which I want to talk about being a teacher is adhering to time. Now, this is where our time structuring is more important. So, in some of the colleges, some teachers are there, they go 10 minutes late and they come 10 minutes before. So, going late to the class and leaving the class earlier. Now, imagine what impression we are going to give to the students. So, we have to be there 2 or 3 minutes before we are waiting for the class. So, that means what? Now, students also learn that a teacher is on time. We should be also on time. This is the thing where, because if you come late, the students also come late. Then where is the classroom management? If you come 10 minutes late, the students will come 15 minutes late. So this is where we have to be on time and you have to be strict with the timings part. Otherwise, students will have a loose talk. Please don't feel bad. Students will have a loose talk on the teacher. Like you will become a late teacher. And there are some teachers, they're waiting for the hours to finish. And sometimes they leave the class 10 minutes before. Now, this is not expected from a teacher because dissemination of knowledge is not a simple job. And you have to really struggle hard and you have to disseminate the knowledge for the student crowd which has got complete faith in a teacher. That is why they call first Matra Deva Deva, Pitra Deva Bhava, and finally the Acharya Deva Bhava or Guru Deva Bhava. Why? Because you are the third important factor in a student's life. So think of that where they have kept. So that is why if you are being a model teacher, first be a model to others, adhering to the time, be on time and leave on time. And if at all you want to take extra time, please also what you call, please what you call, tell them that I'm going to take what you call additional 10 minutes or 20 minutes today. Let them mentally prepared for it. That is more important. Or if you're taking 1 hour extra, prepare them mentally because they're not ready nowadays. So making them to sit for 1 hour is really difficult. You may have experienced. And the moment little time goes, they ask, Madam, break, sir, break. We never asked break when we were students. Nowadays they openly ask, sir, we want a break. That means what? They are overflooded with information. Or your class, we don't know. Then explanation part of it. Now, few of the things here I want to talk about. How to explain. You have a concept. That concept is slightly complex one. The moment you start explaining, the student should not find it difficult to what you call understand. So the explanation should be in such a way that you can now you can use LCD because of course UGC insists us that use ICT in classrooms, information communication technology. But the problem with us today we have misunderstood the ICT. That means ICT means only LCD, LCD and PowerPoint. But there is something more than that. So this is where the explanation comes. First, what you call, we have to try to understand what you call what is the concept. And if we have understood the concept, then it's easier to explain to others. So while explaining, please see to that you are making it very clear to the student. You can use several what you call tools for that. As I said, you can use LCD, you can use audio visual tools, you can use a simple body language. Definitely you can do that. Continuing this, what you call teaching with examples. Now, what do you mean by teaching with examples? As we don't teach, no, we do give examples, but try to understand, give the examples or provide the examples which are what you call currently seen by the students or experienced by the student. If you give examples 20, 30 years back, this is not going to connect to the student. The examples which are what you call, suppose if it is a, what you call terrorist part or something, you are going to talk about terrorism in India. You cannot talk about 50s or 70s. Now you have to talk about the recent one, Operation Sindoor, because our students are updated with that. So then they remember better and they like it also because whatever they have heard or seen, now it is being repeated in the class. I'm just this one. So teaching with examples is more important because sometimes content will be difficult, but if you provide an example, or if somebody is what you call talking about political science and they are talking about international relations, I think now this could be the best example what has happened during the recent few days back, like how different countries behaved in a different way with India, especially during the what you call so-called Operation Sindoor and other issues, how other countries have behaved. Now that could be a best way to explain, give examples when you talk about international relations. Now this is where you have to be very careful. Then using simple language. I know sometimes we go with the hype that I know so many things and we use jargons. We use jargons. My dear teachers, never use jargons. You may be the master of those words, but your students are not aware of it. Once you use jargons, they might think that our teacher may be extraordinary brilliant, but we have not understood anything. So this is where you have to be very careful. Use simple language. Don't expect the students to come to your level. You have to get into the students' understanding level, their capacity. That is more important. We may be extraordinarily good in what you call language, but whether that language part is on par with the understanding level of a student, it may not be. There could be a big gap. So let's get into the student's level of understanding, what level he can understand. So today's newspapers are, you believe it or not, meant for 6th standard English. Can you believe it? 6 to 7, it's not even reached high school level understanding level. So if you find newspaper language only difficult, remember what can happen. Then comes teaching with the breaks. Now this is where I want to focus on how to teach inside the class. Now remember, I know some teachers, they come next 1 hour, they speak continuously. They speak continuously 1 hour without break. This is not a good what you call habit or a good practice inside the class. Why? Because psychologically it is proved that you can hold the attention of a student maximum of, again I'm underlining, maximum of 20 to 21 minutes. You can hold the attention max of 20 to 21 minutes. It can go in the first minute itself. So this is where you have to what you call teach around 15 to 16 minutes or 17 minutes or up to 20 minutes and give a short break. Once you give a short break, now it will refresh the mind of the student. And during that break of 1 or 2 minutes, what you have to do is refresh them with the what you call slightly come out of the subject and talk. When you come out of the subject, you talk something related but not in depth. Now, why this is required? Because in psychology, again, we talk about consolidation of memory traces. If you talk continuously, the memory traces will not be consolidated. Why? Because whenever they listen, whenever they what you call, whenever they see something, it has to be consolidated in what you call, technically speaking, our brain hypothetically what you call prepares engrams or memory traces, and these memory traces have to be consolidated. But if you speak consolidately, if you speak continuously, the memory traces will have just a flow, they will not consolidate, they will not settle down. So that's why the moment you give a break, so that is a time for consolidation of memory traces which they have learnt. If otherwise, what is going to happen? Even if they think my teacher is doing well, he is teaching very serious one, I have to listen. After 21 minutes, the saturation comes. Once the saturation comes, whatever is now taught is go above the head, it will not go inside the head. So my sincere request is to what you call teach with the breaks. Like you can split into 3 sessions. First what you call first session, second session, and third session. So in that, in between, you can give say 4 to 5 minutes break, and don't give them or leave them blank. You can talk something light, and again you continue the subject. Definitely this will be more what you call useful for the students, and you can be a what you call very effective teacher inside the class. Another important thing is make the session live or make the classroom live. Now this is where, can anybody tell how we can make the session live inside the class? Of course you have got LCD, of course you have got what you call other audiovisual aids. How you are going to make the session live? Anybody can speak out of from there. Turn your this one, because you already teachers, you must have what you call tried to make the session live.
To interact
Yeah,
with the
yes,
students and
between
ask
the
the
teachers.
question to the students and answer them to ask the questions.
uh, Dr. Syed Barkat is talking, or whom? Who is talking?
Yes,
On
sir.
Sir,
Parshram is talking.
yes, sir. Sir, we need to engage this with the recording, asking a question.
Okay, again I'm going to have a little what you call divert from your side. Definitely yes, questions, but not in the beginning. So what you mean by making the session live is involving the students. So make it a discussion based. You what you call, you raise the issue. You have the content with you. Now ask student opinion on a positive side. So what they think about it. Now everybody is now get alert, because any student may be asked, any student may be later may be supplemented with the questions. Now once you involve the students, rather than all the time 1 hour you are continuously talking, you can involve the students in such a way that it will make them interesting also. The moment it makes them interesting, they will actively participate. You know, there are some students, they say, by the way, all the participants are from only Karnataka or from other states also? Any participant is from outside the state? Participants, there any participants from outside the state? All of you are from Karnataka?
Hello, sir. Three are
No, sir.
Maharashtra, another
Some
one is
students are
Chandigarh.
from
Sir, maximum Karnataka, sir.
Okay, okay,
And
okay.
one from Haryana.
Okay, okay, fine, fine. No, 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 because no, in between I thought I'll speak some Kannada words, and since there are interstate this one are there, I'll speak in English only. Sometimes the students say, we didn't know how the class time went on, or Kannada will say, time pass agida gottagilla. We don't know how the time got passed. That means what? There was a serious involvement from the teacher as well as the students, so that the time just passed through. They didn't feel that 1 hour passed. Can you make that kind of classroom where both the sides are seriously involved in listening, asking, what do you call, then again questioning back? So this would really encourage. And remember, in a group, if you discuss, the ideas will what you call extend more. And when the discussion comes, everybody remembers rather than one person teaching all the time. So this is where make the session live, make the what you call, give the best examples. Another thing is, there are some teachers, they just come to the class, just orally they tell something for 1 hour and they go back. I am telling you, this classroom is not much effective. That's why I said use of audio visual aids. Use of audio visual aids are very important inside the classroom, because again we talk about three types of memories. One is audio memory, another one is visual memory, another one is motion or video memory. Now remember, there are three types of memories we can think of. One is audio, just sound. Another one is visual, a picture. Another one is video or motion memory. Which could be, which can be better, which one of these can be better retained by the student?
Video memory.
Exactly right. Now I go back to your school days, or your what you call days when you were young, and when you liked a movie and a song, even if you remember now, those are in Karnataka, still they can remember Rajkumar's movie and a particular song. Why?
Yes, sir.
Why? Because it was a video. There was a movement inside. Or those who are in the Mumbai or Haryana, they might still remember Amitabh Bachchan songs. Why? Not because of audio, there was a video involved. So the idea here is audio memory is very weak. Visuals are better, at least they can retain the picture. This is called as visual memory. And video or motion memory is the best. But the condition is how long you can use the video inside the class. So the video should be there, small clips in your LCDs, because it can connect. I think most of nowadays all the colleges are well equipped with the LCD facilities and all, and we are good enough to what you call make a presentation with the small clips of video, and this has got maximum impact on the students. That's why I said motion memory. So that means what? In your talk, you can use audio, you can use what you call pictures. Sometimes pictures also be very useful as well as videos. For example, if you are somebody is there from science background, and if you are teaching about brain and behavior, which is better, audio, picture, or video? Because remember here the video is better. Why? Because video has got a 3D view and you can explain the structure of a brain much easier rather than explaining what is frontal lobe, what is parietal lobe, and we are finding struggling ourselves. Rather than show that picture or show the video and rotate the picture, and you can split the vertical brain into left and right hemisphere, you can do wonders with this. So that's why, and definitely you will be a popular teacher. This teacher teaches extraordinary well. You are not done extraordinary, what you call this one, you have used extraordinary skills. So it's only the teaching skills you have used. So this is where the important part. So my idea there for the teachers are what you call use as much as audiovisual aids so that it will be more effective and the imprint of that is more among the students brain. So that's the idea. So this is of the few tips for you to manage your class. Then come to the what you call delivery part. But before that, while delivering, I want to speak about types of teachers. Again, I request you don't take it personally. There are various types of teachers inside the class. You may have experienced when your student days. So there are the first type of teacher we refer to as, anyway, there is no textbook gives any reference for this. It's only based on the experience. The first type of teacher is called as a PowerPoint teacher. You know what's the meaning of a PowerPoint teacher? This teacher is all the time dependent on PowerPoint. He's a PowerPoint. Yes, somebody's what you call want to comment?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, PowerPoint means ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಆಗಿರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಆ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ಏನೇನ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನ ರೀಕಾಲ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ, ಅದನ್ನ ಅವರು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೋಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಸರ್.
ಸೈಯದ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ನಾನು ಬೇರೆ PowerPoint ಟೀಚರ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. Okay, I'll tell. Okay, these PowerPoint teachers are something different. These teachers are completely dependent on the PowerPoint. So when they come to the class, they just say, okay, today we are going to discuss this, and open the PowerPoint. And they start reading the PowerPoint. When the power goes, electricity goes, their power also goes. You get the point? So don't be a PowerPoint teacher. Why? Because you should be what you call having a capacity without even having a backup of a PowerPoint. You should able to deliver a lecture 1 to 2 hours without any PowerPoint backup. That means you have enough efficiency. If you are completely dependent on PowerPoint, that means this is the problem. And now then what happens if you start reading the what you call PowerPoint? Student might object, sir, you are reading wrong. Madam, there is something you are missing there. So why to have that ridiculousness from what you call from the students? Because nowadays students are extra smart. So be careful about this. So PowerPoint is required, but PowerPoint should not be by itself is a class. Please understand. And you should present a PowerPoint rather than you should read a PowerPoint. I don't want you to be a PowerPoint reader. I want you to be a PowerPoint presenter. Imagine olden days, our teachers used to come with a slip in the hand, a small slip in the hand. And what that slip used to contain? The important points which they have to discuss in the class. And by chance, what you call in between, they used to look into the slip, looking at that whether they have missed something. Now the same job should be taken over by the LCD, where in PowerPoint those points should be mentioned. Once in a while you can look into the PowerPoint and see whether you're going in the continuation with that or not. So the theme of the idea is don't be a PowerPoint teacher, be a PowerPoint presenter. Otherwise you are a powerless teacher. So this is one part. There are some teachers, they come inside the class. First few minutes, their sound is very high. Their vocalization is very serious. And other class also being disturbed. The neighboring class also being disturbed. That much of raised voice. Now the neighboring teachers will tell the students, wait, it's only for a few minutes. After that few minutes, suddenly the teacher says, okay, now take the notes. Next 50 minutes is the notes. We call them as notes teachers. So never become a notes teacher. Why? Because the moment you give a notes, the students now say, sir, please don't dictate the notes, sir. You you paste that into our WhatsApp. We read by ourselves. You can relax. So what is your job? So your job is to disseminate the knowledge, explain, make the complex things simple to the student, not dictating the notes. So don't be a notes teacher. There are some teachers. The moment they come inside the class, they don't even stand. They directly come and sit. Next 1 hour, they are going to sit in the chair. And believe it or not, the students who are in the front bench, they are the victims of this class. Why? Because the first row is directly visible to the teacher. Whatever is being explained by the teacher is only listened by the students of only first bench. The back benches now they are busy in doing something else. It could be playing online games, or it could be playing within themselves, or it could be writing other assignments or notes. So my sincere request are for all youngster teachers there, make it a habit. Don't sit and teach. It is not going to be effective. Why? Because the moment you sit there, all students are not in your visibility. Only the front benches are on visibility. Others are not visible. Now they might take the advantage of it. The moment they take the advantage of it, what's going to happen? Your class are not going to be effective. So don't be a teacher with the kind of all the time sitting. Next part, another type of teacher. Especially this happens in the afternoon classes. There are some teachers and they expect all the students to listen to them and all the time be attentive to the teacher. Now it happens like a war room situation. Teacher also looking seriously towards the students also looking seriously towards the teacher. Now it's a kind of a war room situation. Now imagine what must have happened in the process, especially in the afternoon after lunch, when you continuously gauge an object. Now here the teacher, and if the lunch is might heavy, now the autonomic nervous system says sleep, sleep, sleep. But the teacher's voice is hitting the eardrums, not to sleep, not to sleep. But at one moment what happens is there could be closure of eyes and the student might tilt his head down. That is enough for the teacher. Stand up. Is my class is like a music for you? Is it my classical singing for you? Now the student gets enough scoldings from the teacher for no reason. Who is responsible for student sleep? It is the teacher. Please understand, it is a teacher. Why? Because the teacher has made the classroom situation is like a very grim and tense situation. Never make that. Make the classroom situation very easy. That means what? Don't stand at one place. Start subtle moving left and right, front and back. This has got lot of positive impact. The moment you start moving left and right, front and back, not running or doing, then you'll be dancing teacher. Never do that. So a subtle movement which will not disturb the student or student's attention. In subtle movement, you go left and right, front and back. Now I guarantee you, all the students are now alert inside the class, including the last bench. I can guarantee you. Why? Because there is a movement front and back, left and right. So you are not leaving anyone. At the same time, whatever you are teaching, it is going to reach even to the last bench, not only the first bench. So this is another thing where you can use as an effective trick to manage your class effectively so that everybody is listening. And I should tell you something very interesting. If in a classroom, majority of are failing, who is responsible? In a classroom, if majority of the students are failing, who is responsible? The students or someone else?
Teachers only, sir.
Be the
Both
teachers
sides,
are
sir.
responsible.
Both sides.
Okay, Vijayalakshmi madam and Barkas sir, okay, you are right. Why? Because if majority of, see, there are, I'm going to talk about type of students later. See, why I said this? Because if majority of the students are failing means, that means we are not able to make them understand what we are teaching. They are not understood what we are dealing with. They have failed to understand or conceptualize what we have been doing. Now that's where they have found a difficult subject. And if the majority of them are failing, blame it on the teachers, not on the students. That means what? We should introspect ourselves that how best I am teaching. That is why another thing, as a teacher, I ask you, how many of you ask a prompt feedback from the students, not for knack or not for any other assessment? How many of you promptly ask your students the feedback? Did you ask? If you are not asked, my sincere request is ask, because especially in the beginning stages, it is very important where you have to ask a feedback from the students. You might think that you are doing extraordinary well, but is it reaching the student? So what is that feedback? One thing is first feedback itself, whether your rate of presentation or the speed of presentation, is it matching with the students or student length? Because you might speak very fast, which student may not comprehend. You may speak very slow, which students might feel bored. So are you matching your speed with the students' level of understanding? So speed of presentation or speed of lecturing. Again, don't feel bad. Some of the teachers, when the subject is tough, we make it very fast. Urgent. We want to finish the syllabus very fast. That means what? Only when the subject is tough. Don't make that, because if you find a subject tough, what about your students? If any one of the teacher they're telling there, I want to finish this unit somehow, I don't like those teachers. If you are going to finish the what you call unit somehow, how the student is going to study that? And he cannot do somehow, because you are not going to appear for examination. Your students are going to appear for examination. So somehow means what? Just wash off. Not a good idea. Please look into that. The next part, few other types of teachers. This is about the body language of a teacher. Sometimes some teachers, without their awareness, you know what they do? Their communication will be very different. So when that communication comes, I want to tell you something very important. Use of space. Rather, you sit at one place and teach, or use the space. You move around. That's also important. And your movements, as I said, should be very subtle, not disturbing the cognitive level of the students. Then avoiding unnecessary gestures and postures. Many times what happens while teaching, we take the pen from the pocket, take the top out, fix it to the back, and again detach it, again fix it to the head, again put back into the purse or on the pocket. Is it required inside the class? Sometimes you take the kerchief in your left hand, rotate it, rotate to the right hand, put it on the right side. And again take from the right side pocket, rotate to the left and keep it in the left. Do you know you are distracting the students? Because this you are doing without your consciousness. You don't know. Without your awareness, you are doing as if it's a routine. But do you know how many times it has distracted the students? Sometimes removing the button, unbuttoning and buttoning from the what you call shirt buttoning. Is it really required? Why you have to unbutton the what you call the shirt? Now students will look there. He will not listen to your words. And sometimes scratching. You have to be very careful about your body gestures and postures. I know itching sensation comes, and sometimes you have to control that scratching, otherwise it looks very odd inside the class. Scratching the head continuously, what do you think? There must be some worm inside the teacher's head. That's why you scratch. So all these behaviors you have to monitor. See the next one. Sometimes we start class. Yesterday we discussed about this. Okay. Today we are going to continue with this. Maybe if we get time, we'll continue further on this. Okay. Yesterday we have discussed about the issue of political changes in India and Pakistan. Okay. So what is happening in Pakistan? Okay. Now, how many times you have used okay in your talk? After some time inside from the back side, you get a number 167. You know what is that number? How many times you have said okay inside the class? At the end of the class, the student might say 311. That means what? 302. That means these many times you have used those wordings. Unnecessary. Now the student is more interested in how many times you have said okay rather than the content. Or sometimes, isn't it? Isn't it? Isn't it? How many times you have to use isn't it? Is it really required? Or you know what they say? You say okay. The student might say, it's okay, sir. Please continue the class in a better way. Or if you're in the yes, sir, we like. But classes, please. And if you continue say, isn't it, then the student might say, it is. But can you continue the class? So there are several such wordings we unnecessarily repeat without our knowledge. What to do in such cases? That is more important. So my simple question is, how many of you mirror practiced the class? I'm not asking about the micro teaching. Micro teaching, I know. Now you will be asked to teach for 5 to 10 minutes. It will be video recorded and kept. But how many of you have done mirror teaching? So please, what you call, since there are freshers are there, I expect you to have a mirror teaching class for yourself. So start teaching in front of the mirror. Now this is the best way to understand yourself. Now you understand what are your body language, where you can see whether whatever you have spoken and whatever is your body language is matching or not. How many times you are used the word okay, though it was not required? How many of you used isn't it? Isn't it? Now you understand how many fallacies are happening there. And this might confuse the student. Be careful, it's not just like that. It might confuse the student also. So mirror teaching is the best way. Another way I'll tell you, but this should be done in a vertical, very systematic way. Any teacher will have a favorite students inside the class, isn't it? Any teacher will have one or two, at least few favorite students in a class. So what you can do is, you can ask one of your students to record your class video without your knowledge. The moment you know that you are being recorded, you are very cautious. So without your knowledge, if your talk is recorded for 5 to 10 minutes, don't show that video to anyone. Take that video home, cache it on the TV for a bigger screen, so that you can see the things clearly. Now play the video what somebody has recorded inside the class. Step by step analyze. Listen to the first sentence. Sometimes you wonder, is this I am teaching or somebody else is teaching? This has happened. Sometimes you wonder yourself, is that I am teaching? They're like this. Because you think that you are taught like this, but when you listen to your own lecture, you find so funny about yourself. How many gestures you have used for no reason? How many unnecessary gestures you have utilized? Not required. But by repeatedly watching that, you can avoid all these unnecessary gestures and postures. So that's the idea why I wanted to tell you, like, have a video of yourself, have practice of mirror teaching. That is more important. Then when I talk about communication management, these things are very important. And the next aspect is what you call, another important thing which I wanted to tell you is preparation for the class. If you are a fresher, I'm not doubting your capacity or efficiency. If you are a fresher, if you are taking a class for 1 hour, I would expect you to prepare for 2 hours. I don't know why I hope you understand why I'm telling this. If you're taking class for 1 hour, prepare for 2 hours of class. Can you tell me why? Anyone? Anyone there can answer this? Why we have to prepare extra? Especially for the beginners. Yes, madam.
ಸರ್ ಇದು ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಟೀಚಿಂಗ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಮಕ್ಕಳನ್ನ ಇನ್ವಾಲ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಅಗೇನ್ ನಾವು ಹೇಳೋದು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಕನ್ವೆ ಮಾಡೋದಾಗ್ಲಿ, ಎಲ್ಲವೂ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೇಕು ಅನ್ನುವಂತಹ ಒಂದು ಇಂಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಸರ್. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಆ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ನಮಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇದು ನನ್ನ ವಿಷಯ ಬಂದಾಗ ಇದು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸರ್. ಇದು
ಅದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ನಂದು ಬೇರೆ ಐಡಿಯಾ ಇದೆ ಮೇಡಮ್.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾರಾದ್ರೂ ಸಿಎಲ್ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ, ರಜೆ ಹಾಕಿದ್ರೆ ಎಂಗೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು
ಮೇಡಮ್. ಅದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾರ್ಡಿನರಿ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್, ಅನ್ಅವಾಯ್ಡಬಲ್. ನಾನು ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ನು ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಕಂಡೀಷನ್ಸ್ ನಾನು 1 ಅವರ್ ಇದ್ರೆ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಫಾರ್ 2 ಅವರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ. ಯಾಕೆ? ಎಸ್ಪೆಷಲಿ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್.
ಸರ್ ಕೆಲವೊಮ್ಮೆ ನಾವು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಪ್ಪ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, ಬೇಗನೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಹೇಳಿ ಮುಗಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ ಸರ್. ಅಂದ್ರೆ 1 ಅವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ನ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಷ್ಟು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ನ ಬೇಗ ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಅದೇ 2 ಅವರ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೆಡಿ ಆಗಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಇನ್ನು ಟೈಮ್ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್
ಇಲ್ಲ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಇನ್ನೂ ಇದೆ. ಯು ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಟೆಲ್ ಸಮಥಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್.
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್
ಒಬ್ರು ಹೇಳಿ. ಬರ್ಕಸ್ ಸರ್ ಹೇಳಿ. ಬರ್ಕಸ್ ಸರ್ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತಿದ್ರೆ ಹೇಳಿ
ಸರ್. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು 2 ಗಂಟೆ ಮುಂಚೆ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಫ್ರೆಶರ್ಸ್ ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ ಲೆವೆಲ್ ಇಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ನ ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ಕಲಿಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಮೊದಲನೇದಾಗಿ ನಾವು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ರಾ ಇನ್ಫಾರ್ಮೇಶನ್ ಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಪ್ರಿಪರೇಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ
ಸರ್. ಇನ್ನು ನನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹತ್ರ ಬರ್ತಿದ್ರ, ಪೂರ್ತಿ ಹತ್ರ ಯಾರು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನೋಬಡಿ ಕಮಿಂಗ್ ಟು ನಿಯರ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್. ಎಸ್, ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ಸರ್.
ಸರ್ ಸಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋರ್ಡಿಂಗ್ ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ 2 ಅವರ್ ಪ್ರಿಪೇರ್ ಆಗ್ಲೇಬೇಕು.
ಶರಣ ಬಸವ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ ಮೇಡಮ್, ಐ ಕಮ್ ಟು ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಟು ಯು. ಓಕೆ,
effective teaching classes, sir.
Okay, we'll what you call I'll stop the what you call your responses now. It is basically for memory issues. It is basically for memory issues. Sometimes what happens, we prepare for 1 hour and we prepare and we go inside the class by 30 minutes, whatever we have prepared, though it is for 1 hour, we might what you call finish then. Then you might get a comments from the backside, stock is over. So because of the memory issues, it is like suppose during your studentship, you must have read several hundreds of pages. How much you reproduced in for the question what you call in the answer sheet? Not even half of it. So the same analogy here, where because of the memory issues, where you are not able to remember all, because of many issues, and syllabus is also very vast. So you are prepared 1 hour, so never make it 1 to 1 hour. So in the initial stages, you make 1 to 2 hours. If you're finishing 1 to 1 hour, it's extremely good. That other 1 hour now acts as a bonus. Please understand. The other 1 hour now acts as a bonus. You don't have to prepare again. So that you are already have a ready stock with you for the next hour. So the idea here is just to make what you call yourself strengthening with the content, even with the 1 hour extra. Sometimes it happened where you went for 1 hour, by 40 minutes, all the contents are over. You cannot leave the class. You cannot even do something else. Now the students talk now. Okay, our teacher is only this much. It's over. So never have such what you call things from the student side. I don't want a teacher to be ridiculed or criticized by a student, because you have got you have put a lot of efforts to get into this job, and it has to be utilized properly. So now you get the idea why 2 hours preparation for 1 hour, and this is required for first few years. Again, I'm telling you, later you'll be a master. That is more important, and you should be knowing how to connect. That means it doesn't mean that you are beating around the bush. Please never try to beat around the bush. You'll be caught easily, because nowadays students are also smart enough. They can catch you easily. Their questioning you may not be able to answer well. So prepare double of the time in the initial stages. If you are a fresher, it will definitely have what you call more what you call usefulness for you, so that you can continue teaching. Then I would expect the language teachers, except language teachers, not to carry textbook inside the class. Or even if you carry textbook inside the class, unless it's required, do not open it. If you go and open the book and read there, you know what the students are going to think. Our teacher has not prepared. That's why now he's coming inside the class and reading and explain to us. Whereas languages, yes, you require what you call book, language book in your hand and explain, because you have to read it as it is. It could be drama or something like that. So that is also important. Another important thing apart from this is modulation of voice. How many of you do the modulation of voice inside the class? Swaradalli Erilita. This is Kannada. Okay. Modulation of voice. If you don't modulate the voice, you are not a good teacher. Otherwise, it will be BBC news reading, radio news. You have to modulate the voice. Why? Because the moment you go on a pitch which goes high, everybody starts looking at you. Okay, something is happening. Suddenly you get, after some time, suddenly get down, your pitch is very low. Now everybody looks at you. These are the catch points for the students. ಒಮ್ಮೆಲೆ ಜೋರ ಧ್ವನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಅಟೆನ್ಷನ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸಡನ್ ಆಗಿ ವಾಯ್ಸ್ ಡ್ರಾಪ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಗೈನ್ there will be attention. So this is called as voice modulation. And for the language teachers, I have got extra tip. What is that extra tip? Don't stand at one place and teach a drama. If there are 3 characters are there, go make three places for 3 characters and you move around at 3 different characters and enact the drama. Don't just read what is happening or what is there in the textbook, especially language part, whether it's Kannada, English or Hindi. So you have to move to the character point, and there should be enough modulation. If it is a female voice, the voice should be little smooth. If it is a male voice, it should be harsher. So modulation of voice makes what you call entire classroom different, because the more you modulate the voice, the attention of the students will be fast. If you don't modulate, if you read like a what you call newspaper, this one what you call broadcast news, you know how it goes, monotonous. Don't teach in a monotonous way. It's boring for you as well as boring for others also. So teach what you call with the modulation of voice. That is also more important. And my sincere request for the fresher teachers here, if you are not prepared well, please don't go to the class, because students will laugh at you if you are struggling with the content. You have a minimum degree of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Commerce, or Master of Management. Why that master is given? You have got a mastery in that subject. You cannot be a laughing stock in front of a student. So please prepare. The preparation is the thing in the effective classroom management. Not struggling inside the class. So this is one of my sincere requests for the budding teachers. Preparation, preparation, and preparation. And remember, the more you prepare, the more you have mastered the subject. Once you have mastered the subjects, it's very easy to deal inside the class. Why we find sometimes, and sometimes we just pass the time inside the class talking something unnecessary things. And my dear teachers, this I have to tell you, don't admit your personal problems inside the class. Students are not there to listen to your problems. They have their own problems. Don't tell what you call, unless it is what you call very specific to the content part. Sometimes the teachers speak stories about their life. 1 hour entire story of the teacher. Totally waste. So never admit your weaknesses inside the class. Last 3 days I was very busy, so I was not able to concentrate. Don't leave your weakness in front of the student. Then you're a weak teacher. Again, a type of teacher, you are a weak teacher. Oh, Bandrappa, nama weak teacher bandri ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, now the weak teacher has come. Definitely now you start admitting. Okay, today I have that problem, tomorrow I have that problem. My son is like this, my daughter is like this. My father had a problem, my mother had a problem. How far we are different from our students then? So never admit, never what you call, give unnecessary explanation for your problems inside the class. You will become weaker inside the class. Another thing, my dear teachers, never talk about other teacher inside the class, good or bad. You know what? Students are going to assess you. You may have differences with other teacher. You sort it out outside. Please don't talk about other teacher. You have no rights to talk inside the class. The students have come for class, not for your comments about other teacher. Now what happens? Some of the students might go and tell the other teacher. That teacher might come and fight with this teacher. So why to give all this? So never talk about other teacher or other person in your classroom session. That is not what you call good idea. You might think that, okay, by criticizing other teacher, you are feeling good. No, your students will have a very bad impression on you. What kind of a teacher is this? He is talking about his own community teacher, another teacher. So please don't talk about other teacher inside the class. If you have got something, you sort it out with the person, not inside the class. So please do that. So what you call modulation of voice and inside the classroom, and never admit your personal problems. ನನಗೆ ಈ ತರ ಆಯ್ತು, ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರ್ಲಿಕ್ಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. I'm not able to do well. No. Not the good idea. because because students might take the advantage of it over you. So that has happened. That is why. So please don't get into those things. As I said, modulation of voice also as important. And another important thing inside the class is when you address a class, please address class as a whole. That is more important. Especially without your knowledge, sometimes what happened? There are comments. Oh, this male teacher always looks at girls and teaching. There were comments. ಬರೀ ಹುಡುಗರನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಬರೀ ಹುಡುಗರನ್ನ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಂಡೇ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Why to have these comments? Your class should be more generalized. Are you getting my point? Your class should be towards for all, not for one side. Or you know what they say? This teacher has come, now this girl is gone. Why? If a teacher always targets a girl inside the class, you know what's going to happen? The impression you are carrying is going to be very bad. So in such cases, how you can be effective teacher? So remember, all students are equal for you. They may be there could be your own son or daughter inside your class, but they are not your son or daughter, they are your students. For you, all the students are same. Whether you're kith and kin or relatives, you are not going to make a differentiation. That should be your attitude and the way to deal with them. So you keep those things in your mind. Then comes delivery part of it, management. Okay, I want to talk something about our students. Okay, where you have to focus. You know, nowadays we have a group we used to have, but nowadays it's more at-risk students. You know, who are at-risk students? We call them, they might find it difficult to complete their course. They may not score well, or they might score but just pass. That kind of at-risk, and they're not able to manage the class and home well. So who are those students? They are more into the smartphones. They are more into social apps. Nowadays, n number of social apps are there. Instagram, Snapchat, varieties of things we too also have. And because of this, they have lost interest in studies. Now what happens? Okay, I'll take few more minutes so that, because we started late, and again we'll get back after some time. Now one of the things nowadays you see, at-risk students are, or the students nowadays, they are into more selfies and groofies and reels. If you remember, wherever you go, you can find them either in selfies, groofies, or reels. The reels is a latest craze. You must have seen, they dance themselves, they do something, and immediately it will be uploaded. I'll show you a few of the things. You should be able to tell what is so special about these selfies. What is there something common in this?
Entertainment.
Is it only entertainment or something more?
They have extended their tongues.
Okay. Achyutananda sir. Okay, this is your answer.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you think it signifies something? What it indicates?
They are kidding,
Because
sir.
I think they don't have control over their normal behavior, I think so.
Okay, normal behavior. Pallavi madam, you had a comment.
Sir, they are kidding, sir.
Huh?
ಅವರು ಯಾರನ್ನ ಆಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋ ರೀತಿ ಇದ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅನ್ಕೋತೆ.
Okay, the answer lies with me here, because in psychology or in psychopathology, tongue protrusion, in ನಾಲ್ಗೆ ಹೊರಗಾಗ್ತಾರಲ್ಲ, we call it as a tongue protrusion, is one of the indication of mental retardation. Suppose you go to any this mentally retarded homes or this one, you must have seen children with the tongue drooping down, or tongue this one. And what this younger generation wants to say is, we are all mentally retarded. They might think that it's a fun, but what the signal they are giving to us? Okay, see the next one. Not less than a horror movie. The eyes are almost popped out, and next moment the eyes will come out. And imagine how much time is being wasted in doing this. I'll show you more. See this, the top picture is a combined picture for different kinds of emotions. I have split into several pieces. See the first picture. Is it aggression? Is it this one? All of them are showing in a single picture different expressions. What these people want to say for us? And these are the very, I'm not showing some of the selfies or groupies which are horrible in nature, which you cannot see because I don't want to show you online. There are some of the selfies I cannot, because I don't want to, what you call, spoil the entire mood of yours. See the next one. Are the students are not at risk? You know what it means, what they're doing. See the next one. And don't think that this is not, there is very quite common with our students. And I don't know, the recent demand survey has said, especially the psychopathologies, earlier it was earlier between youngsters and midline old age. Nowadays it is there, even the teenagers, even with the children also, the pathology is increasing. So what is going to happen? And there are some, what you call, other selfies which give you a cool feeling. Don't you think this is a cool selfie? Which gives very healthy kind of, what you call, impression. Okay, after showing, don't blame me why you are showing so many selfies or groupies. Now see this comment from APA. Are you able to read it?
Yes, sir.
What is that? Selfie, a mental disorder.